And we're ready. For those of you tuning in, you were seeing a prop that we stopped so Mike can go grab the prop. For those,
I mean, this is kind of, I didn't know that something that was just getting started could already break.
It's oil specific, and people have pointed that out. Hey, you know, Apple makes 20 billion or more a year in California.
And welcome to this Energy Facts Chat. It's me, your host, one of your hosts, JP Warner. We got Mike Umbro pretty much in the middle of a field right now. Giving us a live report. Again, everyone, thanks for tuning in to Energy Facts Chats. If those that are tuning in, I got to throw this at the beginning. Check us out over on YouTube, where we kind of have these conversations on a daily basis, where we talk about energy headlines, what it means to the energy space, to the energy realm, and kind of how it affects the environment, the economy, and mainly you, the consumer. Is it really saving you money? Well, we're kind of digging into that. And again, check this out. Kind of the whole, this all spurned from Mike's endeavors out there and his group out there, Californians for Energy and Science, which is kind of, in reality, it's kind of, I think it's something that we all need right now in society, where it's like, hey, listen, let's check to see what people are saying is really what they're saying. What's happening really what people are saying, what politicians are saying. So you're doing a phenomenal job over there, Mike. And hey, real quick, I know there's not a lot of energy headlines because you've been driving, you're headed back to see your family. I was up at 4 a.m. to get on the first flight to come home to do a breakfast run donut thing with my daughter. So let's
nice.
I want to hear about what's been going on kind of in your network. So we have gas ticking up right now in California at 6 cents. Your bet. You put a bet out.
$6. I wish it was 6 cents.
Let me have my coffee, buddy. Let me have my coffee. So wait, so you made a prediction in August. Is this correct?
In August, early August. Yes.
Early August. And gas was what then?
5.20, 5.15, low fives.
And you predicted that gasoline would rise to be about $6 a gallon by beginning of October.
Yeah, I had an event that I was set to speak at in a few days at the Martinez refinery up in Northern California. The event got canceled, but I put that prediction out there. I said, I bet you by the time I speak at this event, we're going to be past $6 a gallon. And we're statewide average is well north of $6. I think when I checked yesterday, it was like 6.09. The news related to that, I just saw Governor Newsom has allowed the refiners to have an exemption to start making the winter blend of gasoline earlier. So typically the refineries have to wait, I think, till after October 30 to switch to the winter blend, which is a blend. We have a special blend in the warmer months to reduce smog in California, which costs 20 to 25 cents more to produce. So he's saying, hey, I'm going to bring down the gas prices 20 cents by allowing the winter blend to happen earlier.
Man, you're trying to finagle gas prices out there. I love it. I wish they would do the same to pumpkin spice lattes. All right, let's see what's going on. We got our boy Ryan Walker from DC tuning in. Our other energy bro up there in DC tuning in from DC. T-minus 1 day until government shutdown. Whoa, what's going to happen next? All right, if Ryan's got to get on this again. New 5-year plan. Hey, actually, that's probably a good idea to get Ryan. If you since you are the only listener right now, we're going to have you on again. All right, new 5-year plan for the DOI today. Senator Feinstein passes away. Did you know about that?
Yeah, it's unfortunate news. She's 90 years old, and it's going to cause an interesting decision for Governor Newsom, because he's promised to appoint a placeholder in 2024, and he's promised to appoint a black woman has been the promise that he's made. And so I have this theory that he's going to appoint Vice President Harris, and then he's going to jump on Biden's ticket, and we're going to have 12 years of Newsom. But
well, honestly, hey, listen. Like, I mean, Republican, Democrat, Independent, Forward Party, I really don't care. You know what I mean? However, when it comes to energy and when it comes to Social Security, when it comes to national security, I do have a lot of worrisome stuff when it comes to the governor Newsom there, just because. Look, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like like statistics are there. So you can change statistics, kind of make anything sound good or anything sound bad. And all that stuff. And he's very good at that. He's very good at rattling off statistics left, right, and right. However, saying that the U.S. has never been so energy independent. Production is all-time high and all stuff. He's not the president of the United States. He is the governor of California.
Right.
The thing is, though, it's one of those things where it's kind of like those things. Like if do a reference check. You know what I mean? If someone's coming in, hey, look, I'm going to come to your house. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to do all that. I'm going to fix this, fix that. Hey, show me your house, the house that you came from. You know what I mean? Show me the house that you're leaving. You have businesses leaving, San Francisco, people leaving the state. You have extremely high cost of living. You have additional cost of living. And actually, just this past month, Mike, I think you said like 3 or 4 different government bodies were constructed to watch the price of increase on gas, which just leads to an increase on gas. So there's a lot going on right now. And it's one of those things where it's like, he is a good talker. He's a good politician. And I would just be very wary out there about just kind of any politician out there. I'd be very wary of just kind of taking everything without that grain of salt or that boulder of salt, because it is pretty nerve wracking. I guess being in the energy realm, Mike, we see what's going on. We see kind of like, we get the headlines, but we're a little more in depth. A lot of people aren't. So a lot of people do get their facts and their news and their beliefs from politicians, kind of out the state of everything is. And it is scary, the belief that some people have about where we are.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to the need to have a more intelligent media, because the news conference that you're referring to when Governor Newsom was on Sean Hannity was not able to directly pin him down on what's happening in California. So Governor Newsom said, hey, look, under President Biden, we've never been exporting, we've never been producing more energy. But what Hannity failed to do was say, well, Governor Newsom, in California, Californians have never been more dependent on foreign oil, because now you have north of 70% of the oil consumed in California originates in foreign territories, and another 10 to 15% from Alaska. And you've got a dwindling market in California that's in terminal decline. So the exact opposite is happening in California, which of course everybody touts as the 4th or 5th largest economy in the world. Never been more dependent on foreign oil. We've never been more dependent on electrons being imported into our state from other regions to support the power grid. So California is, as they say, an energy island. And if we're not producing it, we're paying to import it. And that's the facts. And that's where we don't have a really, whether it's a really energy intelligent media that actually looks beyond the headlines. And so that's kind of what we're uncovering here on our daily or couple times a week show of looking at the headlines.
Hey, honestly, and if you are tuning in right now, please head over to YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and kind of so you stay alert when we do go live, so you can kind of partake in these conversations, kind of get your again, the energy headlines. They tie into this evolving energy story that we're trying to tell. But Mike, I'm telling you what, that kind of has me scared. I mean, anyway, I mean, for obvious reasons, but you're right. I mean, the energy push, the energy shove to the future, forgetting kind of what the economy is based off of, and kind of what keeps things running, what keeps avocados cheap, what keeps what's running and going, all that stuff. That is being forgotten, and that's the scary part. Okay, let's take it to the streets. We got old Ryan Scott tuning in. Hello, Mike and JP. Ryan, how you doing today?
Ryan.
Tuning in. We got Gavin McQueen. Great name, Gavin. Morning, gents. What happens when more base fuel, natural gas, is exported to U.S. states that don't produce domestically? What happens when more base fuel exported to U.S. states that don't produce domestically?
What happens? So in California, if we're not producing natural gas, we store, which we don't. We only produce 10% of the natural gas we consume we need in California. We use gas storage, which is depleted oil and gas reservoirs, and we import the natural gas from West Texas, from Colorado, from New Mexico, from Canada, and we inject it in the subsurface and we store it for the winter months because 46% of our grid is powered by natural gas. So
Yeah.
I can tell you what happens in California when we don't produce it. We're beholden to importing it from other states or Canada. And what happened last year, we had the West Texas pipeline ruptured in the desert of Arizona. And
Yep.
so that pipeline was down and we were paying $50 an MCF for gas, which is astronomical.
So,
that's what happened.
so for California, you got Alaska, you got Colorado, and you got the Texas, right?
Yeah, we're getting crude oil from Alaska, not natural gas. But yes, yes, we're importing energy from surrounding states, and really natural gas is coming from West Texas, New Mexico, San Juan Basin. You got your energy map up showing how much natural gas we're burning in the mid-morning here, which is more than any other source. And
yeah, that's
as the days get shorter,
that's past 24 hours, and this is past 30 days. So as anyone can see out there, and honestly, this is a cool app that I found, and I had to show Mike this app. It's so cool. It's called Electricity Maps, and definitely check it out. And it's so cool. You can go to this spurred my interest in all this. I mean, you can go to any part of the country, actually the globe, and kind of see what's making up the electricity. So you click in Texas, you have ERCOT, you have natural gas carrying the load, which usually is a lot of wind and solar in Texas. So it's a real cool. Actually, that's past 30 days. Then that's not accurate. I apologize. You gotta have.
Well, it's accurate for the past 30 days. I think it's actually beneficial to look at a 30-day snapshot because if you just look at a point in time, it can be misleading. If you look at a point in time in the middle of the day in California, you're going to see a lot of flat panel photovoltaic power on the market. So much so that we have to shed load in the spring and the summer months because we have too much solar power.
So if I want to elevate my conversations in my circles, and I want to use the word solar power, do I just start dropping the photovoltaic?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's gonna like
PV.
This guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. You will, for sure. But yeah, when you look at the 30-day snapshot and really when you look at the coming 30, 60, 90 days, what happens in a place like California, the days get shorter, the time changes, and you have more reliance on natural gas in the winter.
Hey, we got hot off the press, Mike. I don't even know if you're ready. Are you bundled up? Because this is gonna be hot. Ready?
Yeah.
White House just started to review EPA's final methane rule for oil and gas sector. Here we go. And that's kind of what Ryan Key's been talking about. And that's kind of what my buddy up in Colorado, David Simsick over at Tigra facilities or whatever are talking about. Like, this is going to hit people. And what's interesting, I've had conversations with a lot of people about this. Like, yeah, we have someone involved in this. We have a dedicated person looking at this. I'm not sure what's going to be in this, the methane rule and all that stuff, but it's going to affect U.S. domestic production, I think, dramatically. And we'll see. I think, the technology and stuff out there is there to kind of reduce the methane leakage or anything like that. But I think some of the penalties are going to be a lot heavier. And look, here's the deal. If you want to release that, that's fine. But just allow us to kind of produce more in the States, right? If you want to release this, that's fine. Just let us get some permits out, right?
Yeah, I think the opportunity for the operators is to say, hey, we need more infrastructure, and we need to have natural gas pipelines. I've seen some recent articles. Bill McKibben, who's a really environmental activist, has come out on Twitter and talked about the Mountain Valley Pipeline in West Virginia and how Republicans rammed that through. And it's like, you're not even looking at the fact that the whole east coast of the United States needs natural gas.
100% they do.
And I think that's the window. And I think from a policy perspective, they're going to shut down flaring. Absolutely. And they should. If operators can't plan for their facilities and can't bring wells on without flaring, they shouldn't bring the wells on.
Bro,
Fact
but
of the matter.
okay, I agree with that. I agree with that. But then let's stop again. Let's stop holding. I agree with that 100%. But at the same time, is we're still going to foreign countries that don't give a damn about flaring, and we're saying, yeah, bring it over here, bring it over here. Actually, can you produce more because our gas is going up? Can you produce more so we can import it? So, it's funny that New England's like that, because New England. Let's look at 12 months. Okay, let's look at 12 months. New England on the for people for a political environment that dislikes fossil fuels and all that stuff, it's one of those things that they sure are reliant big time on nuclear and natural gas.
Natural gas, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's the energy realities, and that's kind of what we're stemming here from. So,
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how the methane rule plays out. But I see the end game being, they're going to stop flaring, as they should. And that's the opportunity for the industry to say, we need to be able to permit infrastructure at a timely pace, at an efficient pace, at an affordable pace.
And obviously that should be those conversations need to be happening today, if not yesterday.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what else? So, okay. So you just came from if anyone else wants to bring up something for us to talk about, or me to reframe it so Mike can talk about it, go ahead. But I guess in the meantime, Mike, let's talk about your when you just came from. So you got to speak at something at the university.
No, we didn't do it at a university. We have a pathway to do so now, though. We did it at a beach bar on Miramar Beach. We had our monthly meeting in Santa Barbara for Californians for Energy and
Very
Science.
different than a university. Actually, it could be a California university. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and we did it there because we have our air monitoring study going on in Ventura now. We moved from Bakersfield to Ventura on a production facility. We're moving it back to Kern County in the next couple of weeks. But we're doing these monthly meetings in the locations where we're performing environmental studies. And I was so excited because we had a professor, a PhD from UC Santa Barbara, that just showed up. I didn't know he was showing up. We've been posting. I have a constant contact email list and then posting on LinkedIn, and he showed up, and he specifically has been studying in the recent years. He's been studying China's role in the energy in global energy systems, and specifically Angola and their development of oil and gas projects in Angola, and the treatment of people working at these facilities, the impact on the local communities. And he has a background in city planning, and he's a UC Berkeley PhD. But he's starting to look at what he wants to study is the economic and community impact that energy policies are having on places like Bakersfield.
Hey,
specifically.
Hey.
So that it's one of those scenarios that I think I was so encouraged by, because I did an interview with one of his students about 6 months ago, and then she got connected to our group, and then she turned him on to our meeting last night. So it was a really cool experience to have a PhD professor come and say, hey, I want to go see your study sites. I want to help look at what this is doing to jobs and the economy in Bakersfield and Kern County, and really use proper study methods to educate policymakers in Sacramento. So it's everything we've been talking about, and we're starting to really get great engagement from academia, and that's been our goal, is to get in touch with those universities.
Mike, I love hearing that. The fact is, you have, people pointing fingers. Oh, big oil is gouging this. This is gouging that. That's gouging this. You're gouging me. You're doing this. Big oil is responsible for this. Da, da, da. You have all these finger pointing, all that stuff. We're shutting it down, all that stuff. But what's so cool to hear is that you have people kind of the energy boomerang, as I termed it, that you've taken, is like I'm taking everything.
That's all right.
Like I'm stealing all
everybody's.
I love it. I'm tired. I'll take it. So, no, but now you're having people kind of question, whether it's gas price, whether it's jobs, whether it's this, you're having people start questioning, and as people should, you're having people start questioning these energy policies and these grandiose visions about what's going to happen. Say, but time out. What's really happening? What's really happening?
Right.
What's happening to our local workforce? What's happening to
Right.
the pollution by the port? So I mean, you're having these people have these conversations. To hear that you have a PhD professor come in, I think that's awesome. All right,
Yeah.
we have Gavin McQueen tuning in right now. So does OPEC actually have a supply issue, which they claim requires cuts, or is it political to impact Biden admin Dems' chance in elections? Man, I would say, look, I'm going to throw my tinfoil hat on. I'm not sure how much of a supply issue it is or would be, but regardless, there is some political tangents to this. There are some political feelers out there because, I mean, regardless of what you think, I don't think the alliance between Saudi and the States is, when it comes to the oil and gas market, I don't think it's as tight as it once was, and you can see that through kind of the past year and a half, 2 years of kind of Saudi's decision on what they're going to do, on how they're going to sell oil and gas and all that. So anyway, I'm curious what your thoughts are about that.
Well, I think it's important to remember that the Saudi government is totally reliant on the price of oil to fund all of its social programs, and they need to support the people that are in Saudi Arabia. So they need a high price of oil. They need oil north of $70-$80 a barrel in order to have a budget surplus. Unlike, some countries actually like to make money instead of constantly running deficits. So I think it's a move that they know they can take supply off the market. We've seen potentially peak Permian output, or we're right at that peak Permian output. I don't think anybody expects, a hockey stick ramp up like we saw from 2014 to 2022 in production out of the Permian. We're not going to see that again. They're trying to maintain, and Saudi Arabia knows that. So why wouldn't they cut production when they know they have captive markets in China, in California that need the product and will pay whatever price possible for the product? So I think it's political. Everything's political with energy, but I think it's more about them seeing the opportunity to maintain an elevated price. So they're going to throttle back production and maintain a price over $90. That's what it's going to be. And who's going to bring marginal barrels on the market beyond this to bring that price down? I don't know. I guess the price has to go higher to bring more production on the market.
Yeah, I think Dan Pickering, he had an interesting, the first time I ever heard it was demand deconstruction, where I guess oil and gas price of oil gets so high, people decide they change kind of their habits and their lifestyles so they don't fill up their cars as much, so they don't do this.
Yeah.
Demand deconstruction, I thought was a very interesting concept.
Yeah, absolutely. You see it at the pumps in San Diego. When I filled up the other day, I went and looked around at some of the pumps, and Dan has tweeted about this. That
round numbers,
$10, $25, and sure enough, 3 out of the 5 pumps I looked at were very small fill-ups. And but then you see 2 or 3 that are everybody's filling up as they would. So I think you're seeing that. I think you're going to see people drive less. You're going to see people cut into their consumer spending. We saw a Wall Street Journal article today about the uptick in inflation, and of course core inflation strips out food and energy. So it's really an incomplete view of the pain people are feeling, but it's real, and these prices are going to impact the broader economy. There's no question.
Nothing's gotten cheaper, has it?
No, nothing's been cheaper over the past 4 years.
It's not slowing down. It's like, get off my throat, prices. Damn.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, what else is going on in your energy world? What topics today?
Not much. I mean, I think that inflation story is real. I think the opportunity for us as an industry to educate has never been better. And hopefully we can see more CEOs of domestic energy companies coming out and having a bigger voice as these prices escalate. and hopefully we see more of that, because
But
this is not a short-term thing. This is
It's
going
not,
to
and
be
it's not, you know,
sustained.
and the thing is, though, you know, I'm very, you know, pro advocacy, you know, pro energy advocacy and all that stuff. You know, having conversations with people, I think that's one layer, but I think engaging, you know, with local politicians, with national, utilizing, I think that probably is. I was in Oklahoma and I met this gentleman who's actually running for state senate or senate or something like that. And I don't know all the different vibe, but anyway, he's running and he's like, you know, it's interesting for a state that has such a large oil and gas, you know, presence and all that stuff. There's no one in the oil and gas realm that's sitting in these spots and in these seats and all
Right.
that stuff. So I think, you know, kind of getting involved on that realm, unfortunately, is just a necessary path to take, because I mean that's the only way you're going to influence energy policy that makes sense for actual domestic energy, for energy
Yes.
security.
Yes, there's a lack of expertise in policymaking, and we saw that with the Division of Petroleum Market Oversight. And the first letter in California didn't address OPEC's
OPEC.
supply cuts, didn't address the fact that 20% of the oil produced consumed in California comes from California, and we've only got 7 permits issued. Didn't address the fact that we've gone from 30 refineries in the state down to 9. We're closing another 2 refineries and multiple pipelines in the state. So you cannot ignore the fact that this industry is being shut down in California and these prices are going up. I was going back and forth with someone on Twitter saying, "Oh, you can't say that producing more in California would impact the price at the pump." It's baloney. Do you not know supply and demand? Do you not know basic economics? I'm not saying it's going to change things tomorrow, but this has been going on for 4 decades now, where we're shutting down the industry in California. It's taken that long to clamp it down to such a point that people are like, this is unaffordable. I can't sustain this. And it's not going to come back overnight. I'm not suggesting that you're drilling this year and it's going to be all rosy the next 2 years. No, we're in this for the next 30 years. And I don't think the public understands what that means. We're in energy scarcity, elevated prices for the coming decades.
I know. And that sucks. That sucks.
It's awful. It's awful. It's gonna make, there will be no middle class in California. There will only be rich and poor.
Yep, and I think you're seeing that right now. And honestly, it's not one of those things where you're gonna wake up and one day you're like, oh my god, it's happening right now. It's happening all across the states too. It's not just California. And so, you know, you talk about those 7 permits right now, and you know, you talk about the 7 permits from what, 1,600?
Yeah, down from 1,600.
Dude,
Absolutely.
that is like less than 1% of what y'all are doing before.
Yeah, and we've lost 70,000 barrels a day of in-state production since 2019.
Okay,
That's
so
a lot.
I got some homework for you. From the oil production in California, from smaller than 1% of permits are being issued from the were last year, right? That, to me, that's suffocating an industry, right?
Right.
So an industry like this, it's not like it's the tile industry or like the cabinet making industry. This is energy industry. So you're suffocating industry here. I would love to hear about the jobs that have been impacted by that, the taxes for the state of California that it hasn't capitalized on, right? From the lack of oil and gas production, jobs being created, and all that stuff. I think it'd be very interesting to kind of just do a side-by-side analysis on not just on the benefits of domestic production in the state of California. What's been lost? What are we losing out?
The costs. Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee you, she'll be like, oh yeah, but we lost on this. We've gained on all these subsidies from the IRA and all, which is probably true. But at the same time, I don't know. That seems like a blank check. So
there's $3 to $5 billion a year lost just on rig crews and the wages being paid to rig hands.
Yeah.
So it's massive. Yeah, but I'll put something together. We'll talk about it.
You got to check out that the kids book for adults I sent you, Mike, and kind of go through that. And
I will.
That, because that's me moving forward. Yeah. So we're putting together a kids energy book for adults. So
nice. Hey, teach it to me like I'm a child, right?
I mean, sometimes you have to, man.
Yes, that's
sometimes
what we have to do. Absolutely.
All right. Anyone else for Mike or I on this Energy Fact Chats? If you are enjoying this, please head over to YouTube, show it some love, because Mike and I love doing this, and we go over there. There's like 3 views. We're like,
Yeah.
let's get this out more. So hey, we appreciate everyone. It's probably a lack of our promoting it, but we enjoy doing this. We want to continue to do this. So head over, like, subscribe, talk to your friends about it. Get engaged in these conversations. Get engaged in this conversation with your neighbors, your friends, your local politicians. Reach out. Ryan Walker, met Ryan through LinkedIn. I mean, he's up in DC, kind of fighting the fight for the energy policy stuff. So again, everyone, thank you for tuning in to Energy Facts Chats. Mike, you got anything for us?
No, have a good weekend. Sorry for the doom and gloom on the pricing, but go outside.
All right, I got one energy headline to read that just kind of shows the just dramatic attention grabbing. That okay, strong El Nino, not a baby El Nino, strong El Nino expected to drive record-breaking global surface temperatures and trigger climate crisis in 23-24. It's like, dude, like that's a lot. That's a lot of clickbait stuff, man. Like that's a very aggressive for my 7 a.m. coffee, right?
Yeah, two rainy years in a row in California. That's what's coming. So climate change, it's real. It's happening.
Well, no, it's happening. It's gonna go from climate change crisis in 23 and 24, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So stay away. How about this? Energy Fact Chats. Stay away from the headlines.
Yeah.
Right? That ain't bad. All right,
All
right, Gavin. Appreciate you tuning in. Great convo. Very interesting. Keep it on that onwards. Thanks. Appreciate that. And we'll see everyone next week. Mike, you be good, brother. You drive safe back and tell the family we said hello.
Absolutely. Likewise.
For those of you tuning in, you were seeing a prop that we stopped so Mike can go grab the prop.
I mean, this is kind of, I didn't know that something that was just getting started could already break.
It's oil specific, and people have pointed that out. Hey, Apple makes $20 billion or more a year in California.